welcome back to another episode of Apologetically Me. I'm Maggie,
I'm Wanda.
and we're here with an episode about work and school. We're going to be talking about some stuff post grad, um, our decisions to pursue either more further education or go into the workforce. We're going to have a couple special guests join us. This is going to be a double date episode for me and Wanda. We're going to be joined by our favorite couple, Kim and Cathy. But we'll get back to them in a bit. But before we get started, Wanda, tell the people what you got going on.
What we got going on. Um, so I guess like nothing much really. Today, the day that we're filming this, May 1st, is Jordan and I's anniversary.
Wait, it's May 1st? I could
Y-
have sworn you said May 4th.
No, that is, I know. I wanted to like drop that subtly because I remember a few weeks ago you were like, "Hey, when's your anniversary? I have something I want to post on that day."
I forgot to set up a reminder. I could have sworn it was May 4th. Anyways, I'm not going to mansplain this to you.
Why don't you tell me when my anniversary is?
The anniversary. What are you guys doing today?
Nothing really. Just before we started filming this podcast, Jordan was like, "I all the things I need to do today revolve around you being quiet and being busy." So as you can see, our relationship is progressing well.
This is really what, 3 years together? 2 years?
2 years.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Well, you don't remember our anniversary, so
Isn't it just like sometime in September?
yeah, probably. We should do something cool for our Apologetically Me anniversary if we ever get there.
Oh my God, that's like 300 episodes in.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what life will be like 300 episodes later.
Hopefully, we'll have more than 30 subs on YouTube.
Yeah, we haven't even hit 30. We're at 29.
We're 30 right now.
Oh, nice. We got a new sub. Hello, new subscriber.
Welcome. We'll clip this for you.
And swing that question back at you. What do you have going on?
Oh my god, you're asking me a question. Um, so last week I gave an update how I took my COVID test. I would like to report that I am officially negative. I have come out of self-isolation. I have no symptoms. Um, we're all good. We're all good in my end. My family's healthy, safe. Self-isolation made me go a little bit crazy. I feel like I gained a lot of weight. Um, when I stepped on the scale afterwards, I was like, I gained 8 pounds, and I'm like, oh god, it was only 3 days. This is brutal. Yeah, it was just a lot of like eating because I think I was so bored. I was eating like all the time, and I was like barely working out. Even though I had like plenty of space here to work out, I was just like, nah, not into it. Not gonna look off my laptop to work out.
I want to just put a shout out to Maggie who her excuse for not working out for the past few months was that there was contractors in the house doing renovations, and then as soon as they left, Maggie was like, "Oh my god, I can finally work out now. I have all this space." And then she decides to go for a walk instead.
I'm come here to be judged, okay? This is my quarantine update, not to criticize Maggie's quarantine update.
I'm happy you are positive. I mean, I'm happy you are negative. I don't know how you are negative, but I wish you were positive for the meme.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny if I was positive. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be bad because there'd be a lot of like repercussions about what happened because I came into contact with so many people. I mean, like I've been isolating well. I think I only see like maybe 2 or 3 people, but it's like my family and like our family business. Then that would have been like completely compromised. Yeah, it just goes to show that like COVID is it's hitting like a lot more younger people in Ontario, and now is not the time to be loosening up. Even though I really want to because the sun is out, I'm out. It's May.
On the bright side of all of this, the light at the end of the tunnel is that they're opening up vaccinations for 18 plus in Ontario as of, I think, the May 2-4 week.
Woohoo! You know what's funny? So because we usually film this like 2 weeks in advance, all the COVID updates we give are like outdated.
Yeah.
So like fingers crossed that this update doesn't change.
Yeah. I've had to cut a lot of the my updates out of the like episodes we film because every single time I complain about some restriction and it ends up getting lifted like the day or two after we film it, and then it becomes obsolete, and then I just like it doesn't make sense anymore.
Which is good because it shows how powerful our words are.
Yeah, we manifested it into the universe by putting our words out.
Nice. Thanks for listening, Dougie. Okay, who is your beef or crush of the week?
Let me paint you a picture. And I told Maggie that I would be beefy with Jordan this week, and I have stayed true to my word. Basically, what happened was that a few mornings ago, we had opened up a new carton of cream. So I was in the process of opening it up, and I was throwing the tab of the cream out into the garbage. And then Jordan started talking to me. So then I got distracted by the conversation, at which point I'd never returned back to the cream for like 1 or 2 minutes. But we were both downstairs in the kitchen. He then proceeds to take the cream that is open and shake it, and thus spilling cream everywhere onto the counters and like on the stove and everything. At which point he gets angry at me because he's like, why would you leave this uncapped? And for me to shake it and spill it everywhere. Caveat, he wasn't angry. He was just upset about the fact that he had spilled milk everywhere, but he blamed it on me. He said it was my fault that he spilled milk everywhere. But who doesn't look at the milk? Like, who doesn't look at something before shaking it?
Wait, cream or milk?
Cream.
Okay. Why was he shaking cream?
Like, I don't know. It was in a carton. I don't know. I think I sometimes like shake cream before I use it. Like, I don't blame him for shaking it. What the blame is on the fact that he opened it, like he didn't see that it was open. That's where I blame him.
Wait, was it already? So you put it back in the fridge?
No. Okay, so picture this. The cream is on the counter and there's 2 coffee cups beside it. I took the cap off of the cream and I put it on the counter, and because it was a new carton, I had to like open the security lid of it. So I opened the security lid and I threw that in the trash. The carton is now open with the lid beside it on the counter. I went to go talk to Jordan for 2 minutes, and then he goes and shakes the cream. Jordan says he refuses to comment because he knows he's at fault.
No.
Oh,
don't misquote me.
Do you want to just say it?
You walked away with the cap off, and I walked up to prepare coffee.
Would you like to say this?
No.
Why?
Because I don't want to feed your drama.
Okay. So he says that I walked away with the cap and I didn't close it. And any reasonable human would expect that the cap is on. You know Maggie's going to agree with me. I can see it in her face right now.
That's fine.
Okay.
She wasn't there.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Jordan. Tell him I'm sorry.
She says she's sorry.
I'm going to walk around and leave the caps off things and see how many messes you make.
I didn't even say anything. You just looked at my face.
I know, because I can see it in your face. Anyways, that's my beef. What is your beef?
I don't really have any beef. I think I have a crush of the week. I feel like I need to start having more beef. I haven't really had beef with anyone in a while. I kind of miss it. It makes me more spicy when I have some beef. I have a crush on, you know the show Peaky Blinders?
No, but I've heard of it.
Oh, okay. So my brother is really into that show, and he showed me a clip of it. And Cillian Murphy could get it. He is my current crush. He is so great. We will put a picture here for you to see him. I seem to have a type for the old white men. Yeah, if you seen Batman Begins, like the Dark Knight, he's the Scarecrow. I think about what he's been in. He's like a good looking guy. Okay, everyone, we're back with Cathy and Kim. Cathy and Kim, say hi to the people.
Hello.
Nice. So if you guys don't remember, Cathy was our moderator when Wanda and I got in a fight. And Wanda won, but now we want to have Cathy back for some more speaking parts, and she brought Kim, her boyfriend. Do you guys want to say hi to the people? Or give yourself a little bit of an intro?
Sure. Do you want to start?
Yeah. So I met Maggie in university, and then a few years later I met Kim.
Okay. I guess my turn. Long time listener. I guess first time caller. So big fan of the podcast. Yeah, I'm Cathy's boyfriend.
Nice. Oh, tell the people when you guys met.
Yeah. We met when I was young. It was 2013.
Wow.
But we connected.
Yeah, we went on a little family trip together, actually.
Family friends trip.
Family friends trip.
Very important.
So it was like, you know, like
Why
her
not?
her parents and me and my parents went together. We didn't know each other for like back then. We just sort of like connected. We really hit it off, and then we just started talking, but nothing really happened until sort of like we reconnected sort of like a few years ago. And then yeah, been dating for 2.5 years.
Because then that way you know your parents approve of the other.
This is the rom-com situation. This is every Chinese rom-com. Okay, so this is gonna be weird, but we've asked Cathy before for her first impression of us. Kim, can you give us your first impression of Wanda and I?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. I guess Maggie, the first time I met you was at the pizza shop, right?
This is true.
So yeah, so you know, so Cathy and I were doing sort of like a trip, you know, in like you know southern Ontario, and then she told me, hey, you know, I had this friend who owns a pizza place that's not too far away, and we're like, yeah, let's go and check it out. So we drove over. I think the first time we came,
Oh, yeah, you
yeah,
were there.
Maggie, you weren't there, but I think your dad or your uncle or
My
somebody.
uncle.
Yeah, your uncle, right? So we're just like, oh, okay, you know, we just want to kind of say hi to Maggie. So we sort of like came back maybe like a couple of days later. We swung by to the pizza shop again. You were there, and then I met you. You were like super nice, and I saw you know like you and Cathy really had like a good friendship there. So
Nice.
and you give us like free pizza and wings. So
You bought him over.
I bought your friendship.
yes, definitely.
Nice.
And Wanda, I guess this is the first time that we're meeting. So hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to kind of you know hang out with all of you guys in person. Maybe do this in person next time or something.
Aw.
I think that would be something pretty awesome.
We have a first impression of you. Wanda, give your first impression of
Okay.
Maggie.
So I think it was last week or the week before, Cathy messaged Maggie saying that you guys were listening to the We Give the Talk, I think part one or part two, where we talked about like menstrual pads, and Kim said that, oh, this is how you use it. I always thought you glued it or you taped it to your body or something. And then that was like my very first impression of Kim.
I guess that's something I learned from the podcast.
Yeah.
We're out here teaching important information to our listeners.
Definitely.
Yeah, so our first impression, like when we met, like you already explained that, but I have a better impression. It was leading up to your birthday, actually. And Cathy, I hope you're okay with me sharing this, but it was like the roast of Kim, and she did her run through with me, and it was an amazing PowerPoint. It was such a good presentation. I learned so much about you in that PowerPoint. How you're so into The Bachelor. I love this.
I guess this is out in the public now.
Now that I know that like you like PowerPoint presentations, like I'm gonna look for one on my next birthday, Maggie, just so you know.
But it was a roast one. Like Cathy roasted Kim. It was like a gentle roast, like a honey roast.
Okay. Well, I just want a honey. I just want honey. Give me a honey. Give me like a reasons why Wanda is amazing PowerPoint form of 99 slides.
Every time I say something nice to you, you're like,
oh. Yes, but I treasure it forever. Now I have a PowerPoint that I can keep.
What if I play this at your funeral?
No, because I won't be there to enjoy it.
Would you want me to do a honey roast or roast at your funeral?
Why would you roast me at my funeral? Like all my friends and family would be like, what
this
the?
bitch had it coming. She had no idea how to cross a road properly. She deserved it. So Cathy and Kim are in-house experts. They bring different experiences to the podcast. So Cathy, after she finished her undergrad, she went to postgrad. Kim, after he finished his undergrad, he went to work, like I did. So a quick run through, if you guys could give your credentials and background, like how you guys got into it. We'll start with you, Kim.
Sure. So I went to Western University. I think that's what it's called now. I think I went to Western for my undergrad. I studied actuarial science there for 4 years. And then afterwards, I went straight to work. First, I actually worked at a bank, but it wasn't like I would say like the most happy there. Then I just sort of like keep browsing around, keep looking inside my industry, and then I've been working on pastry now for the past 5 years. Yeah,
Nice. So you're in corporate Canada.
I guess so. I don't really see myself that way, but I guess I am.
Are you like a suits and tie kind of guy then?
No. Like I don't even wear like a polo shirt. Like we got rid of our dress code, so I
Oh,
pretty much
nice.
just go in like my regular t-shirt, sweater, whatever.
You like the cool mom.
The cool dad, sure.
Yeah, you wear the New Balances with like
Oh,
Costco socks and the jeans and the belt.
Fanny pack.
Fanny pack.
The Reeboks, the
The
fresh,
Reebok.
crisp white. Yeah, I went to McMaster. I studied psychology. And then right after I finished undergrad, I went to law school at Queen's University, and I just graduated this month.
Woohoo! And so did Wanda. Wanda, give the people a quick run through of your credentials, even though we've heard this before.
Yeah, so I did my undergrad in computer science, which the University of Guelph calls the Bachelor of Computing. And then I did my MBA recently for the last 2 years, and I just graduated like last week.
Woohoo! Congrats to both of you guys. Now you guys have some extra letters next to your name.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
What about
I
you, Maggie?
thank you for asking, Cathy. Oh my god, you're such a sweetie.
I just assume you're gonna like say it anyways. Like most of the time, if I ask you, I end up interrupting what you're saying, so I don't ask you, and then you're like, "Oh, nobody asked," but
Well, it's nice to be asked. Mine is pretty simple too. Like I followed Kim a little bit, so I did McMaster, did my 4 years, and then went straight to working at a bank slash insurance company. And I've been in the corporate world for 3 years now. Whew, time flies. Feels like forever already. I'm ready to retire. So let's talk about the school part of it first. So we'll focus on Wanda and Cathy. How did you guys how did you guys figure out that the post grad life was for you guys? Like, what tools did you guys use? How did you find out about this opportunity? Cathy, we'll start with you.
I always knew I wanted to do. I knew I wasn't ready to start working right away. I wanted to do something more, continue learning, get some kind of professional training. I thought that was medicine at first, but it's a long road and very like competitive. And I think you need to be passionate enough to follow that through. I didn't like blood or any other chemistry stuff. So I chose law, and it's something that matches my skills and interests. I like to journal, I like to read and research. So that was the path, and I applied literally across Canada, like making sure that I would go to school the next year, like after undergrad. I was willing to go to Manitoba. Maggie knows about this. We looked into what it's like to live there. But yeah, so that was my path.
how did you start your process to apply to law school?
It really begins with studying for the LSAT. So I asked people that I knew were in law school about their studying tips, any resources they had. And thankfully, one of my friends passed on to me a lot of her books. And so I just dug into that. And while I was studying for the LSAT, I also looked at what it's like to apply for these different schools in Canada. And but I really didn't look into that until I wrote the LSAT for the first time.
Do you think the books were like what was the most helpful tool for the LSAT?
I had a set of books from one publisher. I don't remember what it was, but I really think you can look at any like reputable company that has a full like comprehensive set of books for each section of the LSAT. And I think what helped me the most with my score was just to be diligent with my time. Like I think I studied 8 to 10 hours every day for 2 months. Um, and I didn't get it right the first time. Like I got an okay mark. I got into a few law schools with that mark, but I rewrote it to up my score, and that carried me through. So you don't have to get it right on the first time. it's such a standardized process that it kind of freaks you out with the security and the logistics and waking up early. But yeah,
Did you also have like a statement of interest or like any other, I guess, essay type application that you needed to send in to all the schools that you applied for?
yes. And unfortunately, it was different for every school. So you have to be very organized with what each school wants from you. What I started with was just starting to write a template why I want to go to law school essay, and then I edited it down. I asked three people to look at it. One was Maggie and I's professor, who was also a lawyer. One was a professor from a different department who knew me on a personal level, and then another was just a peer, like someone my age. And so those people helped me parse down my template, why I want to go to law school essay, and um, from that, I carved out unique sections for each school. So, like the University of Toronto might have asked one particular question, I'll just take out one paragraph and expand on that a little bit. But it all comes from this main essay that I wrote.
Nice. So very similar, I guess, to like an MBA in that way. I ended up getting my Mac offer ahead of time. So I was just like, that was the school that I wanted to go to. It was close to home. It was always what me and my mom talked about, which is kind of the reason I got an MBA in the first place, is because my mom was like, every successful person I know has an MBA. And she's like, and you can't really do anything else. So that's kind of like the reason why I decided to do it at McMaster and why like I chose an MBA in the first place. Um, Similarly, you had to write like a GMAT, which is like a 4 hour ish long standardized test where you go into this room. They have to like pat you down every time you go in. You get like I think like 2 breaks in between where you have like 10-15 minutes, so you're like going to the bathroom, drinking water, scarfing down food, and like you have to like dress in layers in case it gets cold or like too hot, so you like, because you can't leave in between. And it was like quant and qualitative, which was like English. Quant was math, and then qualitative was like English, and then there's like a logic portion of it, and then there's like an essay portion of it. Those two don't really matter. It's really just your quant and your qualitative that make up your score for it. I did a lot of practice, like I bought books and stuff, but found the thing that helped me the most was probably the online practice sessions that simulate like a real exam. So like there's untimed, and then there, like I did the untimed first to get comfortable with the types of questions and to memorize all the different like formulas that you need to know for math, and then I did the timed where like it simulates a real exam, which just sucks because you're sitting there for 4 hours trying to do something and it's not a like it doesn't feel real, right? So you like just want to give up halfway and you just like want to stop doing it, but then you have to like push through it. What was also great is that they give you 2 practice tests before like ahead of time when you register for like the GMAT, so like you get to take those twice. I ended up getting the exact same score on both of them and the exact same score on my GMAT in the end, which is like, okay, like I guess this is fine. Like I thought my score was too low for the schools I wanted to apply for, but they ended up being higher than a lot of the other like a lot of my other classmates. So I was like, oh, like I went in thinking like I was never going to get in, but then what they list on their website is usually the bare, like it's, if you can hit that score you're usually pretty good for business schools, unless you're like trying to apply to like Ivy Leagues and stuff, then you have to be standout. And then the statement of interest, similarly I had like multiple friends like edit it. It took me like, I go like it's good to have a lot of eyes on it because like it's hard to write about, I guess, yourself and why you want to do the things that you do. So like having a lot of people look at it, I think is like what really helped me. Jordan constantly claims that he wrote my entire thing for me, which is not true. He like I wrote it and then I asked him to edit it. His thing was, coming from an immigrant family, I know my parents just wanted me to like wanted the best possible school education that they never got and all that stuff, and I'm like, no, I can't write this. This is bad. No, I can't do that. And he's like, isn't that what you sent in? I'm like, no, that is not what I sent in.
Disclaimer: Jordan is a white man.
Yes. So he really wanted to use that minority immigrant card.
You know what's funny? Like, even when I was applying to stuff, like my former manager, she recommended that I say that in my cover letters or like in my opening interviews, like, coming from an immigrant family, like I came here at a young age. And I was like, wait, I was born here. I didn't come from anywhere. So, like, why do these white people want to play the immigrant card so badly?
I don't know what it says. Like, I don't like, how does it help you in any way?
I don't know. They're just like, oh, this is totally going to help you. It shows like how driven you are.
Oh, that's
Back to your story. Sorry to cut you.
yeah. No, it's fine. I'm used to it. Just kidding. But now I'm applying to a PhD program because again, I'm not ready for the real world yet, and the real world isn't ready for me. This kind of started this kind of started like 2.5 years ago when I was still an undergrad. Like I did like a thesis project with a professor of mine at the university, and like I got along really well with him, and like we kind of like he planted the seed of like he's like, maybe after you do your MBA, like you can consider doing a PhD. And I was like, maybe, like, well, I'll see where I end up. I do really like being called doctor. I mean, I don't know that yet, but I feel like I would really like it. And now it's like the fishes aren't biting for jobs, and I don't want to just sit here like in a lull, and like why not pursue further education? So now I'm back to writing another statement of interest, but I can't use anything from my original because it's different. And I hate that. But it's the same process basically. But if you do want to apply for a PhD, do it with someone you like. Do it like so that you get the flexibility and freedom of doing your own research and everything, and you're not like pigeonholed into like what the professor wants for you.
I will say that Wanda and Cathy are both two of the most like independent, productive, like focused people I know. Like, you guys like just have the brains for it. I am personally not a school person at all. Like, I have never once in my life thought I'm gonna pursue post grad. I was like, you know what? As soon as school's done, I don't need it anymore. I'm just gonna go straight to work. Kim, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Maggie, because I remember like, so like I study actual science, right? So it's pretty much like the same as like a statistics, like sort of like an undergrad. So like I remember in my third year, and I was just like, I don't think I can do another, like after I finish my undergrad, I can do another 2 years of this, statistics like study, because I would much to be, like out there, like applying what I learned instead of, going a little bit more into, the theory side or whatever, right? Or like the proofs, on the math side, right? So yeah, I think Maggie, you and I are sort of like on the same boat. We'd rather be out there like working, right? And then just kind of figuring things out on the fly, instead of I mean, I guess never say never, right? So like maybe in the future doing some sort of like a part time, MBA or like night courses, in like that. That's still possible, but like yeah, being like a full time student again, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Not for me either, my friend. Yeah, that sounds brutal. Like, yeah, exactly. Throughout the 4 years, I was dying the whole time. I think my ideal life is like school and then work, school and then work. But I can't consistently be doing school, or else I'm gonna go crazy. We already kind of answered this, but how did you decide that this was the right next step for you, Wanda?
My mom, like she put it into my brain that you're not going to be successful unless you have a master's degree, which is like false clearly, because like Kim and Maggie, both very successful people, don't have a master's degree. So I think it really depends like on like what you want to do and like what type of person you are. But for me, it was like my mom just like put in my head. She's like, you're going to get a master's degree. It's going to be an MBA. It's going to be at McMaster. And being the appeasing daughter, wonderful daughter that I am, I listened to her.
Cathy, something
would-
your put in your head too?
I was actually the opposite, and it's funny because my mom is gonna listen to this. So hi, mom. But she did not want me to do law because we don't have a lawyer in our family. So there's so many unknowns. Like, how will you get through this degree? How will you find a job? Who's gonna hire you? But I knew personally that studying psychology didn't give me enough depth for me to just start working. When I do summer internships, it feels kind of mindless. Like, because you're a student, the extent of your responsibility is limited. I understand that, but I wanted a job that could stimulate me intellectually, and I didn't think that psychology would give that to me. So that's why I thought law would be an exciting opportunity to learn something new and be a professional in that sense.
Yeah. My mom, I think we talked about this like when you were last on the podcast, like afterwards, where I wanted to be a lawyer originally, but my mom was like, "Oh, like people are racist. You don't know what kind of job you're going to find. Like there's so many unknowns out there. Like who's going to hire you?" So they kind of like my mom definitely had the exact same concerns that like your mom did, but then you like pushed through with it.
Pam, for you, did your parents have any expectations for you, like what they saw as the right next step and how you appeased them or didn't?
Ooh, good question. Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, for sure, like just for being with having Asian parents, for sure they want you to get like an undergrad degree, right? And then like no sort of like break years or anything like that in between. Just for like after high school, just straight jump into your undergrad, find something useful, and then that's sort of like what you'll be doing for like the rest of your life, sort of thing, right? So I would say like other than that, not really. Probably just after I sort of like I graduated, I actually didn't really find a job right away, right? So just kind of figuring out what you're actually good at, what you actually wanted to do, and then like do any sort of things that maybe the real world is looking for, some sort of requirement that they have, but that are not necessarily taught like inside your school courses. Just kind of pursuing those a little bit, and then I would say yeah. Other than that, not really from my parents. Pretty supportive.
Yeah, my parents were the same too. They were pretty supportive with whatever I wanted to do. I think they were pretty like strict about like they expected me to find a job. They didn't have any worries about that. And I think my mom kind of wants me to get a master's, but she's like trying to be like a cool mom about it. Like do whatever you want. Like it's totally your life. Live however you want. Yeah, so we'll see. Um, so I know Cathy and Wanda gave some advice on how to get into grad school. Kim, do you have any advice for like how to find work maybe? Like how you knew you were in the right industry after school?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So like I studied actuarial science, but I am actually not an actuary. I do work at an insurance company, but I'm actually on the operations end. So I think for me, it was just more kind of like really figuring out what I liked, and then what I was like good at, right? So so pretty much I do a lot of number crunching, a lot of like Excel, spreadsheet work. So I kind of knew I kind of wanted to stick in sort of like the insurance, sort of like new startup, techy, financy type of fields, within that. And then what I actually did is actually I kind of like I highlighted a couple of the firms that I really liked. So like so for insurance, there's only so many of them out there, and then there are a couple of them that has good reputations, a couple of them with like really bad reputations, right? So I kind of highlighted the ones that I really wanted to work at, and then just kind of like subscribe to their news feeds, kind of figuring out exactly for the type of job, for the type of entry job you're looking for, what are they exactly looking for from you, right? So other than experience, other than sort of your GPA or anything like that, is there any sort of like soft skill? Is there any sort of things like that 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 you should like note down? And then really just kind of keep an eye on it, and then like don't be afraid to kind of like try them out, right? I remember I sent out like hundreds of resumes in days, in one day. Just kind of like throwing myself out there, just kind of going to different sort of events, meeting people, anything like that. Just kind of get yourself out there, right? And instead of just like not knowing sort of like what's next, right? I would actually also recommend, sort of like this, like it really also depends on what school you go to. Some schools do have that platform that kind of sets up that bridge between sort of like the kind of like the student life and the work life. There are some sort of like some like on campus recruiting that come over. So so just kind of make sure you go to those events. Like you don't have to speak up, right? But at least kind of knowing what that's like. Kind of like mingle a little bit, kind of set up some connections here and there. For sure, they help.
Always be networking.
Mm.
Um,
We're on the same page. I say this every episode. We're so okay. So, question for you, Kim: do grades matter for your first job?
Ooh. I hate to say it, for your first job, yes, it does. Like, I mean, like they get a copy of your transcript, right? And like I remember, I think a couple of cases where kind of like my GPA is not up to par for it. So like as your first job, especially if you don't have co-op experiences, internship experiences, it does matter. But like afterwards, let's say if we have to, sort of like jump to another position now, to another senior position, then then it doesn't matter as much. So like it does sort of like fade throughout time, I would say.
Yeah, okay. I think it's interesting because I guess you came from a very like heavy math background, like
Yeah.
actuarial science and like nerd stuff. So I guess grades matter there. For me personally, I think that grades don't matter. Yeah, because I think just the type of work that I was doing, I think grades didn't matter. So I think it just goes to show our listeners out there, grades will matter, grades won't matter. I think there's an avenue for everyone. Just depends on what path you want to take, but it's not the end of the world if your grades suck.
Yeah, I think in finance and particularly, I've had a few friends where they have had to send in their transcripts, and even getting a new grad job, they had to send their director their final transcripts, even though they were already given an offer or they've already started. So I think anything that may be like very finance heavy might want to see like good grades, but like I think most other things, like you don't need it.
Do you know if like their offer ever got rescinded because of their bad grades?
I think I've heard one. It's happened once where they like their marks weren't even that bad. It was just like a 70 out of like 70%. Like around like that was their average, and their offer got rescinded because of it, because they weren't happy with like they didn't get like A's.
Yeah, I guess what I will also say is, grades, for me, grades matter, but it's not the only thing that matters, right? Like it is a portion of it. It's sort of like it gets you through the door, but like what happens after you get through the door, right? Like how you communicate, how you sort of like present yourself, how you sell yourself, right? That part still matter. I would say that matters more than your grades.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think when it comes down to in the interview, like your grades aren't going to be the thing they're looking at. They're going to be looking at your personality and how hard you can lie in the interview.
I think for internships and stuff, and like they usually ask you to send in the transcripts, but like the last internship I got didn't even ask. So like it really depends on the company. If you're applying through a school like website of any sort, like if the job posting was on the school board, then they will send in the transcript regardless. So like you might as well get good marks, but bad marks are not going to be the end of the world. For grad school, the last 2 years, matter for scholarships and getting into grad school. So I will put that there.
I will say I have never sent in my transcript before. I am A-okay for now. I am the most uneducated one here.
Yeah, some law jobs, in addition to transcripts and your CV, will ask for a writing sample. So that's where you can, put in, uh, demonstrate your writing skills if they were not demonstrated through your grades.
So, Maggie, same questions to you. Anything else that you wanted to add on top of what Kim said?
Um, So I know there's a really great tool out there called Prepped, and it was launched by RBC Ventures, and it's really great for people who are kind of new to working, and it really gives you like a sample of some really cool resumes out there that I personally am using now for my resumes. And it tells you, and it gives you like structures, like how you should be doing it based on how many years of experience you have in work. and it tells you like how you should write a cover letter. So I highly recommend listeners like go check out Prepped. I wish they would sponsor us. Whatever, it's fine. But like great resources there. And I think Kim's point like really nailed it on the head. Like always be networking. Like go out, put yourself out there. It's kind of like dating. I know we've talked about this before. Networking is like dating. Like you're only gonna get the job if you know someone. That's not always the case. Not always the case. I take it back. But I think like it really helps if like you know someone there, like employee referral, like be networking on LinkedIn, whatever it is. It's kind of like dating. It sucks. It's tough, but
Makes it easier, right? It's like once if you know something, not saying that, like if you don't, it's like impossible. But if you do, it just makes the life a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier. They can vouch for you, anything like that. Then just some random Joe Schmo that's fine.
yeah, for sure. Glassdoor is also a great resource too, where you can look at like interview questions on there, look at salaries, like know what you're going in. There's actually a really funny meme from Glassdoor out there, and it's like this guy was interviewing at some investment bank, and he was like, "Yeah, it was a great interview. The only question he asked me was, how's your dad doing?" And he got the job, and that resonates with me. That's why I'm like, depends on who you know. Always be networking, guys. Um, yeah, I think like these are like some pretty great points here. Thanks, guys.
Wait, sorry, before you go on, do cover letters matter? Do I need to put the effort into writing a cover letter?
I personally hate cover letters. I know it's kind of like a writing sample, but sometimes I'll be honest, if I see a cover letter, I won't apply. Buddy, how about you, Kim?
The current job that I am, I actually wrote a cover letter. I think I did. I'm not sure how. Like, I'm not even sure how much like my manager read it. But I don't know. I feel like it depends. Like
When are we going to abolish cover letters? It's ridiculous. Like government jobs require cover letters. No one reads it.
Yeah, it was like what? Like everyone scans like a resume for 8 seconds and like a cover letter for 5 seconds at most or something before like dumping it into a pile.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Cathy or Wanda, did you guys ever have to use cover letters? I guess like statement of interest, but like when you guys apply to internships and stuff.
Definitely for internships, yeah. The application package is usually like resume, cover letter, writing sample, transcripts, references.
Wow, that's like intense for us in undergrad. When applying for co-ops through the school website, like you had to include a cover letter for every job, and it also automatically sent in your transcript. But for every job I've applied to outside of that, I have not used. I have tried to avoid a cover letter, and I will actively put off applying for a job if it requires a cover letter because it's just so much extra work that I don't want to put into it. And it's like, do I even really want this job at that point?
I feel that. It's only if I really want the job or if it's like a really cool company, really cool job, then I will put in the effort. But even then, it feels like I'm just repeating what my resume says, but
Yeah.
in like a funny or like a simpler way.
I know some firms I got an interview because I knew someone there. Like, there's nothing on my package that makes them want to chat with me other than like, oh, you know this person? Like, so I did an internship in DC and I met some lawyers there. So then when I applied for jobs for this the summer, I just talked about the lawyers from their like American branch that I knew, and they just like, oh, some of them maybe have never chatted with lawyers from that location. So yeah.
Okay, so question to the group. You guys recommend more school or going straight to work if you were to redo it all? Okay, we can answer all at once. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Straight to work.
And
Cathy, what'd you say?
depends. What did you say?
Wait, why'd you say depends?
It depends on what you want to. Yeah, I guess it depends on what you want to do. You can't be a lawyer with an undergrad degree.
A lawyer joke is like every time you ask a question to a lawyer, they say it depends.
For the lawyers out there, is Cathy's joke funny?
Depends. So me and Wanda said work. Kim, did you say work too?
I said work.
Nice. I like Wanda that you said work.
as I continue to pursue more school. Like if I had the chance, like if I had a returning offer to my last internship, there would be almost like 0% chance I would have ever pursued a PhD. And like reflecting back on it now, if I could have done my MBA part-time, or like worked part-time and done my MBA full-time, like I would have preferred that. Like having the work experience while doing my MBA, I think would have been a lot more beneficial. Like, especially if you have good time management, and MBA is not hard. Like, the hardest thing is like you just have a lot of assignments coming in at the same time and they're due around the same time. So, like, you just have to make sure that you get everything done like ahead of time and you're just not like slacking off and wasting time. It's very manageable with like even a full-time job, I want to say. Like if you can schedule, like you can't schedule your classes in most cases such that you can work a full-time job, but if you had a very lenient full-time job, you could probably do a full-time MBA and a full-time job, especially in Canada.
And why did you say work? Or is it for the same reasons you said earlier?
Yeah, I guess it's just sort of the same reason. But I guess like school doesn't really like stop, right? Like just because you finish or like your full time student life doesn't mean I mean it's gonna sound so cheesy, but you don't stop learning, sort of thing, right? You can still do night classes. You can learn through YouTube. You can learn. There's like so many things that are out there now that like you don't have to attend the class and listen to like a professor talk or like any sort of like more that traditional method to learn, but like for sure sort of like that learning part definitely does keep going. But yeah, work just kind of gives you kind of like a different perspective, and I guess there are also things that you pick up at work that you don't necessarily pick up directly from school.
So, Cathy, if you were to live in an alternate reality where you were not a lawyer, what would you have pursued? Would it still have been school, like to pursue like another thing, or work?
Yeah, I would still go through school.
You
And I would have done a master's in public health instead.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Okay, I take back my nerd comment.
But actually, even within school, you can do some work. Summer internships are a thing. I know in law school, we can do like internships for credit during the school year. Just getting those experiences, like you said, that's where you meet people, and then you can keep those contacts for later.
Always be networking.
Yeah.
I think like this was kind of like a conversation my mom was having with my cousin, because my cousin wanted to do a PhD because he doesn't think that he'd be able to get like another job in tech, because like I don't know if you guys know, but the interviews in tech are like insane. They basically do like make you write like code on the whiteboard, code with like paper, like on paper. They like ask you like algorithm questions. You have to solve things while they watch you solve it, and like then it's the questions of like what do you code in your free time, like what do you learn on your own, kind of things. And my cousin's like, oh, I don't know if I will be able to pass my next interview if the questions are like that, so I'm going to do a PhD. But the thing is, it's like a PhD is not going to help him pass another interview. It's like the learning that you do on your own is what's going to help you like prep for your next interview. And like a PhD is not going to, or like a master's based program or any kind of program might not be able to prepare you for the next interview. So there are stuff that even if you decide to do school, you still have to do it. Like you have to learn on your own and you have to prep on your own.
Good point. I think work and school go hand in hand. Like Kim said, like you're never really done learning, but also like you can't run away from the real world forever. But last question for us: would you guys have done anything differently? We'll start with you, Cathy.
No, I really think my path was pretty easy. Like it was, yeah. I am happy. Like I, planned to do something professional, and I was lucky enough to get in on the first try. So I wouldn't have, taken time off to work. But I know, like, at law school, many students are a year or two older than me, i.e., they've taken time off or went to work or went to more school between undergrad and law school, and they have been very successful at getting law jobs because there's a level of maturity that you get by being in the workforce, no matter what job it is, I think. So, if I had known that, maybe I would have done some work. But I really just wanted to jump into law right away, and that's just the road I'm on. Yeah.
Hey, Kim, what about you?
Um, I've thought about this a little bit. To me, I don't think so. I don't think there's anything I would have done a little bit differently. To me, maybe the only thing is sort of like like during school, like those like summer internships or those summers are actually very valuable. So so just kind of getting more hands-on experiences, more like more proactive during that time. Maybe that's something I would have done, or or emphasizing the schools that offer better internship programs or co-op programs. Maybe just kind of looking into that a little bit more.
Hey, you, Wanda?
Um, like I said before, I probably would have liked to like work at the same time that I did my MBA, but like everyone told me that the MBA was going to be so hard and like it was going to be so stressful, and it really depends on the person. For some people, it was really stressful and you could see it for like a lot of, not a lot, but some people did end up dropping out, and people are like constantly like, oh, I didn't sleep, I didn't do this, but like again, time management, if you have it, you can definitely like work while you do it. I think like just the experience that you have from working is going to be more valuable sometimes than maybe having in like a postgraduate degree for like at least business, that is. So I'm glad that I did do a lot of internships, and I did choose like a program that was like co-op based so I could continue to do more internships, because I think those like really help you pad your resume for like when you graduate. Even if it takes a little bit longer, an extra year is worth it.
Interesting that you say that people said you should do full time, because I mean, just from what I've heard in the industry, like everyone is always like, just do a part time one. It's not that hard.
It's
Maybe it was just like the former company I was with. They were
yeah.
very work hard, play hard kind of thing.
I think it's like a lot of people also told me to do an MBA immediately, but then a lot of people also told me to not do it immediately, to like wait a few years and to have work experience under your belt and then do an MBA. Maybe that would have been like a better option, but like people were always like, if you get out of studying, you're never going to want to study again.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
So I didn't work right away.
Yeah.
That's what my mom said to me too.
And look at you now, not wanting to go back to school.
I mean, like maybe part time, but like if my employer will pay for me, I don't know if I would have done it differently. I think I worked every summer. Like I have had no summers off, only like vacations when I could, like a week or two. But I think I would have liked to do an exchange program during undergrad. I know that doesn't really count as like advice, but like if you have the money, if you have the resources, go abroad. Even work abroad. That'd be so cool. I don't think it would have like improved me in any way or like put me in a different position. I'm sure I would have been in the same position I am now, like working still. Um, but I think like everyone will come find their own way eventually. Like if you're unemployed right now, don't stress out about it. If you're in a bad job right now, still don't worry about it. It's all up to you on what you do to change that. So don't worry.
Yeah. I think like even if it's not about like education or work growth, it could just be about independent growth as well. Like go take a course online or go to like your local brain station or whatever your equivalent of that and do that. And even going on a foreign exchange, it could help you build independence and like learn about international stuff that you might not learn, I guess, at home.
I will say though, I think there are two different versions of me, like me in school and me post school. So I like me post school way better than school me. I don't know if that's you guys too. If you guys have different personalities. Oh, okay, so I'm crazy. Thanks. Moving on.
I'm definitely on the same boat. Like sort of like I did not show up to all of my classes, let's just say. So there's that part of me that I wasn't like the most proud of. Yeah, but I can't really skip work.
Yeah.
It's it kind of it hits you differently.
Yeah, who you are in school is not gonna might not always be who you are at work. So
But who you are at work, if you're like shitty, then you probably were shitty at school too.
okay, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you both so much. Do you have anything you guys want to plug?
No problem. No problem. No, I think we're okay. Maybe
Don't say it.
no. Okay.
I plugged it last time.
Okay.
My food
Plug
account.
it again in case people didn't listen last episode.
We make food at home. It's called at Watermelon SKJ.
Only homemade food.
Nice. Authentic.
And hello to Cathy's parents who might be watching this.
We'll have you guys on next week.
Yeah. Where we roast Cathy.
PowerPoint presentation.
Yes.
Thanks for having us on.
Good try.
Thank you.
Do you have a question of the week?
Oh, I don't. Oh, maybe I do. Okay. What did you guys think about what we had to say? Are you happy with your choices? Do you prefer school, work? What would you guys have done differently? Let us know in the comments or send us an email. Or send us another ominous Zoom link. So far, no one has sent us a Zoom link. We have not joined anything, even though we keep asking every single week. But it's fine.
Thanks for tuning in again this week. Follow us and like us wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube. Like us and follow us, or I guess like or retweet us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure go like and watch my sibling theories clip that Maggie made on Instagram and TikTok. Let's blow it up.
No, don't promote that.
Thanks for watching. Bye.